Morning.
Let's start with Cam. What do you think about him, and do you think you expect him to play this week?
He had a doctor's appointment this morning. He called me right afterward, and I was on the other line with a coach, and I knew Cam was fired up about something because he called like 3 times in a row, and so finally I told the coach I gotta go because I gotta call Cam back, and he had a good doctor's appointment. He, in his mind, he kind of maybe sees it a little bit differently, but he feels like he will be playing soon. Uh, we're still not all the way where he's cleared to play in a basketball game. There's some more steps that he's got to get to, but uh, the doctor was optimistic, and we're hopeful that he's going to be able to play soon. I don't know exactly when, because he has not practiced yet. He'll in Cooley today. He'll do some more things, moving closer to practicing. We're not going to put him into practice today on day one, because we still want to be as cautious as necessary.
Is it fair to say that you want to see him be able to do some things before you'll roll him out in a game?
You mean basketball wise, or no? I mean, biggest thing is no. The biggest thing is just making sure that everyone involved, Cam, our athletic trainer, and the doctors, have a comfort level with him going out and playing, and they feel like he can do that medically. Basketball-wise, I'd put him in a game right now. I mean, if we're playing right now, I'd put him in a game because he's a really good player. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be able to go play 30 minutes. He's never played that heavy of minutes. But yeah, and if and when he does play, it's going to gives us a really big lift, just him being out there and his presence around our guys.
Coach, it seems like you guys obviously match up better with the other side of the bracket, but as a competitor, as a teacher, do you like being in the side with Baylor and Kansas?
Sorry about that, Scott. That means no. That's an alarm, Scott. Actually means I'm supposed to call a recruit. I mean, you are where you are, so I don't really look at it in terms of like who we match up better with. You want me to turn it off, Scott? We played well at Baylor. Did not play well at home against Baylor. And that's really our only focus. I mean, we're not thinking about anything beyond this first game because in a tournament setting, you have to win to advance. And we're focused on winning on Thursday.
Coach, Prince goes from a guy that was limited in his minutes and a guy you plugged into Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12. Can you just kind of speak to the way he's made the most of his opportunity?
Yeah, I'm really happy for Prince and proud of him. I told him congratulations, and his teammates were really happy for him and congratulated him. And he said, and I really believe this, he said I had never even thought about winning that award. There's certain personality types that dwell on those sorts of things all day, every day throughout the season. And then there's other guys that just kind of go about their business, and you really you're happy to see him get rewarded because he's been huge for our team. He's stepped up. Sometimes when you get an opportunity, you're ready, and sometimes when you get an opportunity, you're not. And he's definitely been ready, and he's made the most of it. And now, with us heading into the postseason, we need him to continue stepping up and playing his best basketball.
You've had a lot of success in postseason tournament formats. Does anything change in your approach about these games because there are quicker turnarounds? In following up on Cam, you mentioned he's able to do more basketball activities. Anything specifically that he's able to do now that he wasn't able to do before?
Well, I'll answer the second one first. He'll do running and jumping today, and just it's probably a question better for the athletic trainer, but we'll just see how he responds, how his foot responds. So he'll do more basketball specific activities. I don't know if Cam's dunked in a while, so just stuff that he would do on a basketball floor is what he'll do today, and then hopefully, depending on how his foot tolerates that, hopefully he can do more tomorrow. In terms of a tournament setting, does anything change? A lot changes. I mean, it's a postseason. It's a single elimination tournament, so you just you go into it with the mindset of wanting to play your best as a basketball team and the individual guys on our team. Anyone that we play will have already played twice, obviously starting with Baylor. So we're in the process of dissecting what went well in games against them, what didn't go well, what they did differently from game 1 to game 2, what we did differently, any matchups. Now, sometimes that can be paralysis by analysis, so it still comes down to trying to play your best basketball and guys making the right basketball plays regardless of the opponent or the defense you're playing against or the offense you're playing against.
Coach, I know you just said that it's important to play your best basketball. How familiar or unfamiliar are you with the situation where you guys don't have to play your way into the NCAA tournament? I know you're not going to rest on your laurels, but you personally, is this a change for you knowing that you guys are just kind of getting ready for the NCAA tournament and you don't have to do anything in Kansas City to necessarily get in?
For me personally, no. We were in that position last year, the year before that. So, no.
Does it make a difference for you as a coach? 'Cause I know some of the guys on this team last year felt like they needed to do one or two things in Kansas City. As a coach, does it matter that your fate's kind of sealed?
Well, yes and no. It matters in that you certainly would rather know that you're in as opposed to being on the fence. But no, it doesn't matter in terms of your preparation and your approach towards the game. You just want you want to win the game just as bad as if you needed to win the game to get to the NCAA tournament.
Coach, how's Isaiah doing, and will you use this tournament? How will you be on the gas pedal with him, knowing there's bigger fish to fry later on?
Well, it's a great question, and we're going to just kind of monitor him as he goes. His injury is a unique one in that it changes from day to day. And so some days he's feeling better than others. Some modalities of treatment work well on one day and don't work as well on another day. So we'll manage his practice reps over the next few days. And then, he's just through the roof about playing. So I don't know how much there is managing of him during the game, but we'll just see how he feels. And, if he can go and be effective and help our team, then he'll play. It's not really one of those things where he's going to make it way worse long term. I do think rest is the best thing for it. So if, for instance, today he doesn't put any strain on it, that's puts him in a better position to feel good tomorrow. But obviously there's a big difference between practice and games.
Speaking of being
in terms of sheer talent in the Big 12, who would you say the top 3 teams in the Big 12 are in talent alone?
In terms of sheer talent, well, I'm a little different. Playing hard is a talent. Basketball IQ is a talent. So, there's a lot of intangibles. But you're talking about the ability to shoot and run and jump and all that stuff. Top 3, Kansas. Oklahoma's got the best player I mean, he's terrific, and they've got some very good players around him. And then I would say there's a tie for third among a bunch of teams. See, you try to get me on some of these questions, and I appreciate that, but.
You talked about Isaiah being fired up to play, and you can't keep him off the court. With Cam, is that kind of a balance in terms of we all know he desperately wants to play this week, but would another week do him good of just practicing, before he gets back on the court?
What do you mean do him good? I mean, you mean in terms of
being more ready to play, not pushing it, his first week back?
Again, with that, I go by what the trainers and the doctors say. It's not my decision on the medical side of things. On the basketball side of things, like you said, he wants to play. It would be great for our team. I think he's worked hard to keep himself in good shape, but we just have to factor in his foot. I guess if your question is, would he be better on the court next week than he would be this week, I would say probably. But it's March, and if he's cleared to play and he wants to play and they say it's fine for him to play, then we'll let him play. Now, that doesn't mean, again, he would come out and, play 100 minutes in a game or in 3 games in a row. Even if he was clear, that's a bear. But we'll worry about that when that comes.
Shaka, Roy Williams said earlier in the year Javon has an old man YMCA game. Is that a fair characterization in your opinion? And then secondly, what about him at his size allows him to get in the paint like he does and kind of create space that other guards necessarily wouldn't be able to?
Yeah, I think that was a compliment from Coach Williams, and I think he was saying that in the best of possible ways. So there's sometimes when you play against older guys at the YMCA, the park, or wherever, and they get things done, and it kind of belies the way that they look or their athletic ability. So I think that's what he was getting at. Number one thing with Javon is confidence. If he's playing with confidence, when he's playing with confidence, then he's really, really effective and aggressive, and he just has a great feel for the game. So I think that's the biggest thing going into this week and really the rest of the year is for us to do everything we can to help him play with great confidence.
Shaka, how much do you, when you look at the draw, how much do you go to the guys and say, hey, Baylor, they put it on y'all last time, and then Kansas, put it on y'all? I mean, how much do you use that to get them motivated?
Well, again, we're just focusing on Baylor, but there's no doubt. I mean, we look at our previous games, and the last time we played Baylor was a home game, and they really took it to us. So, I mean, if you're a competitor at all, as a player or a coach or a manager or a GA or whatever, then that's a big-time motivator for you.
Shaka, when you look at your young guys, and a lot have been real productive in the first half, but do you look when they're able to step up down the stretch and you trust them and they make plays, is that next step that you're looking for them is to have it when it's crunch time?
Yeah, it's a good point. I never really looked at it that way, but I think those guys have been in a position where they've played increasingly big roles for us all year, and they have been in some spots, particularly Snoop and Eric, where late in the game we've depended on them. And I'm sure you're referring to the Oklahoma State game. Snoop was terrific, and as a coach, you try to get the ball in the hands of your guys that are playing the best, and he was playing the best of anyone on our team on the offensive end, and so we called his number, might have been about 5 times in a row, and he responded and made some big plays.
Did you look at the all Big 12 team and studied it? And I was curious if you thought anybody was left off that maybe had been more deserving.
Thought you were left off, Kirk. No, I don't really get into that. I stay away from that. I mean, anyone that is involved with one specific team is necessarily biased. So, it's easy to allow that bias to impact how you feel about certain things. I thought the guys who got the awards were all really well, very deserving. I think the voting as well is sometimes impacted by who else you have on your team. So, that gets influenced as well. But I'm proud of our guys that got awards. I think it's a great accomplishment by guys like Isaiah and Prince. I think Javon probably wanted and expected a little bit more, but good. Let's hope that motivates him.
Was there anybody that you thought was deserving for Defensive Player of the Year besides Prince that you've really been impressed with this year?
On our team or?
The other teams?
I thought Prince deserved the award. There's a lot of really good defenders. I think that Wesley Wundu from Kansas State, he's a terrific defender. I think there's a lot of really, really good ones, but I thought Prince was deserving. Prince is a unique defensive player, and a lot of times those awards are done based on statistics, but Prince, he does a lot of things that go beyond statistics on the defensive end. So I thought they were fine.
In the back, cameras.
Coach, did you get the sense that this team is ready for tournament play after the last couple of weeks of getting toward the end of the schedule? I guess what's the mentality going into this important
Our guys are excited. It's our job over the next few days to get ready and make sure that we're prepared. But, we're really excited, and, the guys, their spirits are really high. I think they're motivated. But that doesn't get it done by itself. You have to be willing to do what goes into winning at that level. And, regardless of where we finished and what awards guys got, I think it's, as I said last week, it's really important that people on our team want more. And I think the more determined, motivated team has an advantage. And so that's something that we can decide.
Adam,
A couple weeks back, caught you on the radio with Craig, and I apologize, I can't remember who the guest was. It might have been Shaq, might have been the walk-ons. You were talking about how that guy got along with Isaiah when not everybody does, and I don't think you meant it as an insult, but are you speaking to Isaiah's competitive nature and kind of tell us a little bit about what his mental makeup is as a
I
teammate?
was talking about Joe Schwartz, actually, one of our walk-ons, who has a really good relationship with Isaiah. Some people just hit it off more than others, and Isaiah off the court is he can tend to be kind of laid back and reserved. His makeup, Isaiah is very, very competitive. He's always, he's just a driven guy, and he's very focused all the time on what he needs to do to show that he's a really good player and to take that step. He's just not satisfied. He has big goals, and he wants to reach those goals, and so he's always focused on those things. Some people are laid back, go with the flow, whatever happens, happens. Isaiah is he's constantly thinking and focused on what do I need to do to be where I want to be.
Shaka, that daily decision you talked about after the Kansas game in terms of what type of team they want this team to be, has that changed since Kansas? Have you seen that daily decision being made by the players?
Our guys have been good in practice. I think it all starts there, but then in the game you got to carry it over. I mean, I think what happens in the game is it's way harder to have a clear head than it is in practice because you have all kinds of other things factored in. You're on TV, you got people saying you got to do this, you got to do that. The reality is, particularly at this time of year, we talked about this yesterday as a team, the players and the teams that are able to be single-minded in their purpose, they have a huge advantage. And as we talked about, that is a daily decision. I think our guys have done a pretty good job at that of late, but when it matters most is right as that ball is being thrown up in the air, and then over the course of the next 2.5 hours after that.
Cedric in the middle.
When you get in a tournament situation, moving deep in, everybody has good players. How important is mental toughness when you get to that point where there's talent on both sides?
It's huge. Yeah, I think that is a big separator, because your ability to respond, as we talk about all the time with our guys, is huge. For instance, if you look at our last Baylor game, our mental toughness was nowhere near where it needed to be. If you remember, we started that game, we turned the ball over the first 3 possessions of the game. They scored on each of those turnovers. Even with that, about 8 minutes into the game, the score was 16-12, which in and of itself, if I say, hey, the score is 16-12, guys, there's 11 minutes left in the first half. Can we win this game? They'd be fine. But we weren't fine. You remember, you watched that game. I mean, we were fragmented. We lacked confidence. We lacked that mental toughness that you're talking about. So it's huge. It's going to be the big separator, and particularly in a league like this, for our team to win 3 games in 3 days against great competition, you're going to have to be really mentally tough.
Have time for 2 last ones. Anybody?
Yeah, Shaka, in general, do you like conference tournaments, or do you feel like they've outlived their usefulness?
Yeah, somebody asked me on the Big 12 teleconference. I like them. I like basketball, so it's another chance to play basketball. It's exciting. I mean, it's a great feeling when you advance in conference tournaments. And I think it's good for teams that do get the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament, because it's a little bit of a dress rehearsal for that. I mean, you're trying to win a championship, so there's no rehearsal about that, but just it's a lot of fun. It's a great opportunity. I think the fans enjoy it. Everybody's watching, and hopefully the games are very meaningful as it relates to seeding and helping position yourself for the NCAA tournament. And again, we want to be playing our best basketball when it matters most. And so if the conference tournament can help us move towards that, and whatever comes out of the conference tournament, then it's hugely valuable for us.
Adam, last one.
Can you tell us a little about the turkeys? When did you come up with that? How long has that been a thing? And is there any kind of reward for however many turkeys y'all get, or is there a standard, a set number?
Can't really give a lot of rewards with the NCAA rules. When I played at a place called Kenyon College, and my coach, my freshman year, Coach Brown, he had certain rewards if you reached a certain number statistically. So I remember it was 6 assists. You got 6 assists, maybe it was 5, and it was like 8 rebounds and a certain number of points. And the reward was a value meal from McDonald's. So I had one game where I had like double the number of assists that the number was. So I said, Coach, I get 2, right? I get 2 of these. But you can't really do that with all these NCAA rules. So a turkey is just like when you're playing, when you're bowling. When you get 3 strikes in a row, that's a turkey. So a turkey is 3 stops in a row, And we've been doing it for a while. I think we got the idea from Buzz Williams, who was at Marquette at the time, who's the coach of Virginia Tech. But we've been doing it for probably about 5 years with our guys, and it's just 3 stops in a row is really, really valuable, in a game. If you think about a game, if you can stop the other team 3 times in a row, and let's say you score 2 out of those 3 times on your offensive end, that's a mini run right there. So we keep track of them during the game. We have a little board with stickers on it of turkeys. The goal is to get 7. We haven't gotten that a lot, but that's what we're going for.
Thanks all. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.